On this episode of Exactly How, you're going to learn how to make money flipping land, how to finally make money in real estate if you haven't been able to make properties work, and how to do it all in your spare time on this episode of Exactly How.
You're listening to the Exactly How podcast, where you'll hear the underground, closely guarded wealth building secrets of successful people around the globe. Discover exactly how to improve your mental, physical, and financial health. Feel better, make more money, live, give, and prosper in today's exciting, fast-paced world filled with opportunity for those who know exactly how.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Connected Investors podcast and YouTube show, Exactly How. During this episode, you're going to discover exactly how to flip land. For those of you who are new, my name is Ross Hamilton, today's host and the CEO of ConnectedInvestors.com. Today, we have the privilege to learn from a gentleman who sold 170 land properties in one day, his first time implementing this strategy. So a big, big payday. Shortly after that, he did 250 properties. This is a guy that you probably already know. You definitely want to learn from. Prior to his career in real estate, he worked as a waiter, cashier, and even a cable guy. But all of that changed when he found tax liens and tax deeds. He was trying to figure out how to make it work. And he said, why wait? I'm going to go ahead and jump right in. That's when he perfected a land flipping strategy that he's going to share with you today. I would describe our guest as someone who can create simple solutions to very complex problems. I'd like to introduce you to the one, the only Jack Bosch. Jack, thanks for being here.
Thank you very much, Ross. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, this is a really hot topic in this market right now. And actually, before we dive into flipping land and exactly how to do it, you contribute a lot of your success to your ability to see opportunity. Why do you think that's played such a big role in your success?
Well, I mean, because every entrepreneur that really ever created anything identified something that either wasn't there or that needed to be there, or something that wasn't working. And while everyone else complained about it, he or she saw that as an opportunity to actually do something about it. So if my brain just seems to be wired, as yours probably is too, and since we know each other for like 11 years already, but since yours is wired such that if all people complain about something, my mind goes automatically, it's like, where's the opportunity here? Like, where is this? What's happening? Where can I? And that's the same thing with real estate. So we found land because we couldn't make houses work. We were struggling in the housing world. We're trying to get houses work. There was a whole bunch of competition. We just not that it doesn't work. We both, you and I, have lots of friends and know lots of people who flipped tons of houses. But to us, it was just, there's too many moving pieces, too many things. So it's like, wait a second, if this is so complicated, what else is there? And all of a sudden we came across land and boom, things just started exploding for us.
That makes a lot of sense. And I'm really excited to kind of peel back all your experiences here and share this information with the listeners of Exactly How. What makes this podcast and YouTube show unique is every show comes with a detailed action plan. So We're going to pull all the notes out of Jack's head here. And when you visit exactlyhow.com, you can download the action plan. In addition, when you visit that site, you can throw your name in the hat to win our PIN pre-MLS software that shows you the best deals, houses and land, trailer parks and apartment complexes all around the United States. This is a $3,000 value that we're going to give someone who visits exactlyhow.com. If you're watching this live on YouTube or Facebook, go there right now, throw your name into the hat. You could win. So Jack, actually one more thing. If you're watching this on YouTube, in the description of this YouTube video, we pack it with all sorts of very important links. Things that we reference, things that we mention can also be found in the description of this YouTube video. So if you're on the podcast, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. All right, Jack, we're gonna jump right into this here. But before we do, I want you to just define, when you're talking about land, there's a lot of different types of land. What exactly are you referring to throughout this podcast and YouTube show?
All right. So since we want to make this very specific, I'm going to give you the exact specifics of what kind of land we're looking for. Number one, we're looking for three kinds of land. Our favorite piece of land is the outskirts of growing areas. So you think about any kind of area in the country, Atlanta, Georgia, always growing, is pushing outwards. So if you're outside of that growth, then just outside of the city, like a few miles or so outside of it, where it's already kind of like green trees and things and stuff like that, if you buy a piece of land there, that piece of land, let's say an acre, is not worth $500,000 like it is in the city. It's worth $50,000. But we have specialized in a way. We've specialized in finding a method, or we've developed and mastered a method that allows us to find these properties at 5 to 25 cents on the dollar. So therefore, when we find a $50,000 acre property, then we don't buy this for $50,000. We put it on a contract for perhaps $15,000, right? Or $12,000, something like that. 25 cents on the dollar is that, whatever that is, $12,000. And then we go turn around and sell it to somebody else for like as a traditional wholesale deal, just like houses do that, for $25,000 or $30,000. Leave enough money in for the next guy. So that's property number one. The second and these properties are obviously very attractive because the buyers are either people that want to park their money there and wait until the city is all the way approached, or people that want to build, they need a lower cost lifestyle, but don't want to be in the middle of nowhere. So they want to be close to the city, outside of the city, where land is still affordable. They buy land, put a mobile home on there, retire in dignity. And if they have to go to the doctor, it's only a 20-minute drive, right? So that's property number one. So they have the built-in buyers in there, and that's why we like them. The second kind of property is right in the city, infill lots. Infill lots are hot. The market is booming. The market is crazy. So when you find an infill lot, you have to pay a little bit more for it. You might have to go up to 40, 50% of market value, but then you flip that thing to a builder the next day. Right? We just bought earlier this year, last year actually, we bought a property for $5,000, an infill lot. We sold it in a matter of 2 weeks to somebody for $64,000. And in that case, we actually did it as a seller financing deal where we were able to get a down payment and they make monthly payments for the next, 20 years or so. So our total profits of the deal is going to be like $111,000 once it's all paid out, which based on a $5,000 investment. So that's an infill lot. And obviously the buyer is like anyone that wants to build a house, a builder, a developer, they buy these houses, they buy these lots right away. The third kind of property we like to focus on is very specifically 5-acre plus rural property, but in areas that are actually attractive. Because there's a lot of rural land that is completely like in the middle of nowhere where nobody wants to be, right? But there's a lot of rural land. Let's take Atlanta, Georgia again. You go an hour north of Atlanta, Georgia, you're in the Smoky Mountains, right? The Smoky Mountains, they have skiing, they have hiking, there's lakes, they have beautiful areas. You can be there. You can buy 20 acres there for a fraction of what it costs, and if they're closer to the city. And yet, so this is interesting for the RV people, for the ATV people, for the people who just like to live the cabin lifestyle and take off the weekend, Thursday evening, Friday afternoon, boom. They bail out of town and you see a beeline into the mountains, anywhere there's mountains. Those are the three kind of properties.
Nice.
We love them because we can get them for anywhere between typically 5 to 25 cents on the dollar. The infill lots a little bit more. And we can sell them quickly because they have the built-in buyer pool that is ready to buy these properties like tomorrow.
Wow. It's nice when you're able to be that specific here. And that's why it's important that you guys visit exactlyhow.com, because we'll have this all broken down with the property types, with the notes on why they're good, kind of what to look for. So make sure to visit exactlyhow.com. There's a link right in the description of this video. Well, great, Jack. Thanks for kind of breaking down what you meant when you talked about land. And before we started this show, we defined what we're going to talk about here into three steps. First, what type of property, which I think we kind of just went over, then how to actually find it, then how to sell it. So Jack, did we just answer step number one, what type of property?
Yes, absolutely.
Good. We're already ahead of the game here. So you mentioned these great types of properties. Can you explain how you're finding them?
Let me find them. Great. So as you said in the introduction, we initially started going after tax liens and tax deeds because we were blown away by the fact that people would let go of their properties literally for nothing and let them go to tax sale. But then we found this process very cumbersome. We found out that on tax liens, you buy a lien, you have to wait 3 years before you can foreclose on it. In tax deeds, you have to attend an auction. And there's a lot of people that also attend these auctions. So then one thought came up that you also mentioned in the introduction, which is the thought of why wait. And here's the thing. Initially, we found this by going after tax delinquent properties because we figured out that if somebody truly doesn't want their property anymore and truly wants to give up their property and doesn't care for their property anymore and doesn't want to put any more property taxes into the property, because the issue with land is that when you own it and don't do anything with it, you have to keep paying property taxes on that thing. And then some people bought properties 20 years ago, they don't want them anymore, and they still have to pay property taxes. So in some cases, they stop paying property taxes. So we realized, we first went to those people, but we realized, why should we, instead of attending an auction or buying a lien, why couldn't we go to them directly? So we devised a piece of mail and we send it directly to the owners, and we got over time, we optimized the piece of mail. Now we have a piece of mail, a letter that gets response rates that are anywhere between typically 4 and 15%. So in other words, we send out 100 letters and you get between 4 and 15 phone calls on those 100 letters. It's like in the house world, that's unheard of. Because in the house guys get like 0.5% if they're lucky, right? So this is what we figured out. And then we also, shortly after, we figured out that it's actually not just the people who have stopped paying property taxes, but it's really anyone who owns land if the land fits certain parameters. So when the parameters are, like, one of the parameters is that they're worth between typically $5,000 and $100,000. That's our sweet spot. Within that price range or value range, people are willing to frequently let these properties go. They have the garage sale mentality. They just don't want them anymore. So what we figured out is that, okay, here's our target market. Here's a piece of letter. Here's a letter that we devised. So we're using direct mail to find these people. Direct mail has worked in 2002, has worked in 2007, has worked when the market went down, has worked when the market was on the bottom, has worked when the market was roaring up, and it works just as well today as it did 18 years ago when we invented this strategy. So direct mail is how we find them. We send out the letter. We get a 4 to 15% response rate. And then we just do a little research on the properties, find out what they're worth. We've developed 5 different valuation strategies. And then we go and make an offer. We typically send that offer out in writing because this is the best part about land. We're in a non-competition environment. Because collective investors, right? 99% of your customer base are in house flipping, right? They're all after the houses. There's barely anyone who does the land flipping. So this is the beauty. Yet there's millions of people looking for land. So by going after the land, we're in an environment where somebody has a piece of land for 20 years. You send them an offer. You send them a letter. They call you back. Even if you make that offer 2 weeks later to them, nobody else is going to slide in and make an offer just before you make that offer. So it's an almost completely competition-free world, which really de-stresses the entire way and lets you build that business in a way that you can. I built this business around my schedule. I never have to jump up and meet a seller because the seller can meet right there. As a matter of fact, I haven't met a seller in 18 years of doing this. I think I met once a seller because he happened to be in town and he happened to be close to a Starbucks. So he and I met at the Starbucks where we signed the documents. So in over 4,000 deals that we've done, I've met one seller. 3,909 plus sellers we have not met. So there's no need to, you can design this beautifully. But the point to your question is, how do we find them? Direct mail. They live all over the world. Mostly in the United States. They live all over the United States. You can do this from all over the United States. And literally, because it's land, you don't have to go see it. You don't have to go inspect it. So we do that. We live in Phoenix, Arizona. We have a property for sale in Hawaii right now. We have properties for sale in Florida. We have properties for sale in Texas. We have properties for sale in Indiana. And we haven't ever actually been at those properties. Except for the one in Hawaii. That one we go visit, of course, frequently.
Oh, there you go. There you go. No, Jack just basically laid it all out for you there, guys. And again, that's why at exactlyhow.com, the show notes will be there. But what I'm going to do in this particular episode is in the description, I'm going to give a link to a full training actually that Jack and I put together that kind of breaks down all of this stuff, because he said, hey, there's different ways to value this. I'm going to show you how to value the land. There are certain dangers in land. Sure, you don't have to worry about an AC being broken, but what if there was, a dry cleaner across the street and your land got contaminated, right? And it's a situation I ran into and learned a little bit about. He has all the ins and outs, the lefts and rights, the ups, the downs. So make sure to take a look at the link in the description of this on the podcast and or on the YouTube video if you want to really, dive deep into this. If you're just thinking about it, this is enough. But if you want to actually really implement this stuff, the training that Jack and I put together will absolutely blow you away. So that was yeah, absolutely, Jack. That was step number 2. But before I get to step number 3 on how to sell these properties, it's very creative the way that Jack does this with buying and selling with seller financing and all that stuff, which again, we cover on the full training. I had to give away the PIN software. So this software, you can literally go in there and search for vacant land in any area, people that are behind on their taxes, that live out of town and have bad credit. If you want to, right? If you want to get that targeted, and you can send them direct mail, you can pick up the phone, you can go ahead and give them a call. So this works perfectly in tandem with everything that we're talking about here. And the winner today, they went to exactlyhow.com. They commented on our videos. They gave us some thumbs up. This is Rebecca Gill. Rebecca.
All right.
Congratulations. We're going to go ahead and get you all set up. I'm so excited for you. All right, Jack, let's get back to it here. So great. You found the software. Using your location strategies, maybe some software, some other stuff to learn on your training. You got it under contract. There was no rush, right? Because no one else is trying to buy this piece of land off them. So you did it when you felt like it. And now it's time to sell the property. So great. You got it under contract.
So the first thing you were saying, we do
you're the master at this, man. I mean, not many people I know have done 100 to 200 at a time.
There was a couple of years where we bought about 200 properties a quarter and would sell them all in one day by putting up big land auction. But that changed in 2007 and 8. The market changed. So we had to transition everything into online. And that actually open our eyes to the possibilities of online sales and also allowed us to actually share that with others. So now, as you know, we already teach that. We also teach that to others right now. But this shift to online really enabled us to be able to share it, because now not everyone can replicate a 200 properties auction because it's very expensive and very cumbersome and very capital intensive. But everyone can put a property on some of the platforms that I'm about to talk about. So when we sell these properties, I'm going to talk about it to be, again, very, very specific. I'm going to talk about it to 2 angles. Angle number 1 is how do we sell these properties? And angle number 2 is where do we sell these properties? Is that okay?
Yep.
That's good. So how do we sell these properties? We actually sell it 2 different ways. Number 1 is the exact same way that house sellers sell houses. A lot of them do wholesaling. We do the exact same thing. We don't even buy the properties in many cases. We put them on a contract, we find a buyer, we assign the contract over, or we do a double closing, right? So we either way, that works. You buy a property worth $50,000, you put it on a contract for 10, you flip it for $32,000 to somebody else, you assign it, you make a $22,000 assignment fee, you're done. You do a double closing, you pay a couple of closing costs, you make a $20,000 profit, you're done. You didn't have to pull any money out of your own pocket in order to do that. So the second way that we sell a property, and that's actually perhaps what you referred to when you talked about it creative, is that we actually love selling our properties with what's called seller financing, right? So the seller carryback, seller financing, installment sale, all different terms for the same thing. Which in other words means we take that same property, $50,000 value, put it on a contract for 10. We go put it on the market for $50,000. No more reason to discount it, because what you're offering it now is with a 20% or 15 or 20% down payment and monthly payments. So it's very likely, it's very possible that somebody wants to buy that property that's worth $50,000, pay you a $10,000 down payment, which is exactly what you paid for the property, and then make monthly payments of $600-800 a month for the next 10-15 years and pay that thing off that way. But it really, what it does, it triples your profit. Because if you take a property for 10 and you sell it for 30, you make $20,000 in profit. If you take that same property, put it on a contract for 10, sell it for 50 with a $10,000 down payment, you're carrying a $40,000 loan, and with interest of 10-12% over the term of the loan, you're now collecting something like $70,000 over the course of the loan. And then as a result, instead of making 20, you make more than 3 times the money. You make 70 grand on that deal. On top of it, to go more specific, you can even take that, what you created essentially now is a note. And you can take that note, a mortgage that you own, you become the bank, right? So in land flipping, you never have to talk to a bank. You become the bank, right? So you become the bank, and now you can actually sell those notes to another bank, just like your bank can sell a house mortgage to another bank, and then you just start making payments to a different bank. So this is how we sell this. This is how we sell this.
Hey, Jack, let me just jump in real quick here, because
Sure.
just yesterday, I've implemented this strategy, many, many times. I got some direct mail from someone trying to buy my note off of me. So you don't even have to go look for these people. I get a letter from these people once every 6 months. Hey, do you want to sell your note? I'm like, no, I love the cash flow just coming in, but thanks for asking. But a lot of people...
And there's actually entire platforms online that you can Google, that you can find, of note buyers. You just submit your note there, and then whoever's interested in it contacts you with their terms, and it's a beautiful thing. Now, I don't sell my notes either, because I love my notes. Because when we started building this up, we very quickly realized that the notes is a big part of your financial freedom. Like within a matter of 6 months, we were able to build this from $0 to $5,000. And at that time, I wasn't even making $5,000 in my job. In other words, in 6 months, I was literally financially free. Now, I came from Germany. I had to first get the green card, so I couldn't quit right away. But a few months after that, my green card arrived, and I was able to quit because now I had more income coming in from this cash flow than I had even been making in my job. And that's when that's when my job started costing me money. And I was able to just get rid of the job, jump in full with both feet in this business, give it my all. And in 18 months total, from the first day deal on to 18 months, we became millionaires. So that's how quickly this can go. And now our students are actually doing it faster than we do. But back to your question, where do we sell them? Now, that's the beauty of the internet right now, right? The beauty of online. Since when we started out, none of these websites that I'm about to tell you were around. But so we had to put up these very complicated, very expensive auctions where, yes, we sold 170 and then 200 and 250 properties in one day. But the fact that I have barely any hair left has also probably to do with these auctions. They were just a bear of work to pull off. So for the last 10 years, what we have done, though, is we have no longer done these auctions. Instead, what we have done, we have sold these properties one by one, but in a very nice, steady flow of a property a day, a property a week, whatever it is, sometimes multiple properties a week online. And the best platforms that today we're selling these properties from is platforms that are already existing. So you don't even have to set up your own website, even though with the collective investments, I understand you get one that is very helpful. But you can you don't rely on a website. Instead, what you do is and the website is always useful, but instead you use those platforms and you piggyback on them. And what are these platforms? Number one, Facebook Marketplace. We probably sell most of our properties these days, the majority of our properties. The single most selling platform is Facebook Marketplace. Second platform, Zillow. You can put your own properties on Zillow. Nobody says you can't. And if you have it on a contract, you can put them on Zillow too. And number three, still working, Craigslist. So these three, you can put them up there. And guess what? All three of them are 100% free. Now, then there's a few paid ones. Have you heard of land.com? Go check it out. There's hundreds of thousands of land parcels that sellers are putting out there on these platforms. And they're getting millions of visitors every single month looking for what you have to offer. So bottom line is, these are the pieces, these are the places where we sell these properties, and everyone can navigate them. We have students that are 90 years old that can navigate it, and we have students that are 14 years old that can navigate them. It doesn't matter because they're user-friendly, easy to use. If you can use Facebook, you can sell your properties through Facebook.
No, that's very, very helpful. And guys, make sure to go ahead and give Jack a thanks in the comments below, because he literally just gave you, the architecture for financial freedom. He told you his story on how he came here with nothing. He would have quit his job sooner, but he couldn't to get that green card. And he was able to become a millionaire very shortly after. That's why you open our emails, you jump on our podcast, you subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can get this type of information delivered directly to you. Jack, is there anything else you want to let people know?
Well, I don't know. I mean, what I want people to know is that this is possible, that real estate doesn't have to be complicated. Real estate doesn't have to be high competition. Real estate doesn't have to include a whole bunch of traps and pitfalls. When you buy a piece of land or when you buy a piece of real estate for 10 or 15 cents on the dollar, we just did a Facebook Live call in our Facebook group that we have, our Land Profit Generator Facebook group. And there were people in there reporting having done deals for $39, getting a lot for $39, another one for $1,000. Another one just posted something he bought, a property. She made $25,000 this week. And so when you buy properties at 10, 15, 20 cents on the dollar, then it doesn't matter what the economy does. It doesn't matter if the stock market crashes. It doesn't matter if the stock market is up or down. You will always be able to sell these properties either at half price for cash or at a higher price with a low down and a low monthly payment. And the nice part is what made it possible for us to get successful in real estate is the fact that in land flipping, you actually don't have to know much about real estate. That's actually a key thing because you don't have to know how much it costs to repair a kitchen, a roof, a bathroom, plumbing, foundation, mold, all those kind of things. And when we came into real estate, we knew none of that. We didn't know even the word deed. What does deed mean? What does drywall mean? I mean, it looks pretty dry. I'm looking at the wall, right? And we knew none of these things. And yet we were still able to make it work because by focusing just on the steps that I laid out, instead of having to focus on all these red tape, we were able to make it happen very, very quickly.
Yeah. Hey, Jack, let me ask you one of the most important questions. What do you think your life would be like if you never found real estate?
I think I would have less hair. It would be way grayer. I would not live in a 7,000 square foot custom home on an acre in the foothills right in the middle of Phoenix, Arizona, in one of the best zip codes of the country, which is Paradise Valley, where literally all the football stars and all the billionaires live around somewhere here in the neighborhood. I would perhaps not even be married anymore. Who knows? Because my life was miserable back then. I was traveling 100%. I was gone from Monday morning to Friday evening. I was hating it. I want to believe that I would have been so frustrated that I would have found something else. But because the frustration of my life situation back then, and Michelle's, my wife's frustration in her life situation with us together back then, is what became one of our biggest drivers. So what I want to tell people is that if you're in a frustrated situation, don't use it to complain. Use it as fuel to push you forward and out of that situation. So I want to believe I would have found something else, but I thank God every moment that I found real estate, because, and particularly within real estate land, because it's the most stressless, it's the most relaxed, it's the most low cost, it's the most high upside real estate investment method that I have ever found. And because of that, we were able to build our cash flow to $70,000 a month. We were able to flip 4,000 properties. And then when the market crashed or when there's a correction, we were able to take that money and build a bigger portfolio of things out of there. And as a result, now we have 400 apartment units. We have commercial property. We own a hotel. We own all these different things that are doing well. And without having found that, I would be some employee complaining about stuff. We're hoping for Friday, and I don't know, deeply sad and deeply depressed, and probably not even married yet anymore.
Oh my gosh, man, that's
you wanted to know?
Yeah, it's.
We actually have that conversation with my wife sometimes when Michelle, my wife, who runs the business with me from the first day on, we have this conversation of like, what would have happened if we would have not found that? And
it's like this alternate universe comes up, and well, you said something really important in the beginning. Why wait?
Yeah.
Right. I'm glad you asked yourself that question.
Yeah. Why wait? Was like, why should we wait? Because that's what everyone does. They just wait for properties to be handed to them on a silver platter. But that comes usually with a whole bunch of competition. And the same people do that. I mean, if you wait for the mortgage delinquency list, you're going to have everyone and their brother gets that same list. So you got to fight for those same properties, for the same houses. But if you go after other kind of properties, that not even listed. Our properties are not listed on the market. They're not foreclosure. They're free and clear properties that are families owned for the last 20, 30 years. And they just don't want to pay property taxes anymore. They just don't want them anymore. So yeah, why wait? You gotta take action.
So you like the you might even want to filter down by free and clear as well.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Free and clear is important. Because when you only pay 10 cents on the dollar, you don't want a 40% mortgage that's sitting on there.
There you go. Last little golden nugget from the man, Jack Bosch. Jack, do you have time to go over the rapid fire section?
Sure. Give it to me.
All right. Just the first thing that comes to your mind. All right. On a scale of 1 to 10, how strict were your parents?
A 6.
Get up early or stay up late?
Neither. Sleep long and go to bed early. No, if anything, more stay up late. But I'm not. Nobody's in our family is a morning person. Not even a dog. I get up at 6:30 in the morning to get my daughter ready for school, and I open the crate for the dog, and she doesn't come out for another hour.
Well, I mean, most vampires are not morning people, so.
Right. Right.
Get up early or stay up late?
Well,
I'm sorry. I just asked you that question. How many hours of sleep do you normally get?
I am actually, again, we this is a business that can be designed around your lifestyle. I, for some reason, need 9 hours of sleep to be fully 100% rested. I usually only get like 7.5 or 8, and I'll take a nap every other day or so, and that balances it out. I like taking naps.
What's your favorite or most recent book you read?
I read a book by the producer of like a bunch of ABC TV channels, like this hospital series. I forgot what it's called. But the book is called The Year of Yes, which is a beautiful book, funny also as hell. It's a lighter entertainment, but it's also deep about the lady that just was like very, very. It's her own story, and I forgot her name, but it's like Grey's Anatomy. The lady that created Grey's Anatomy, she wrote that book. How she kind of like decided to say yes to everything that's being come her way for a full year, and how it completely transformed her life. Yeah. Okay, if you could be any superhero, who would it be? I would be any superhero. Who would that be? I would like to be Superman because I like to be flying. Flying would be cool.
What is something everyone should do less of?
Watch TV. What
is something everyone should do more of?
Consume podcasts, read, educate themselves about, and most importantly, turn on your brain. Just because you're reading or you're educating yourself doesn't mean you're thinking. So literally, you want to when somebody brings you something, particularly in the current media environment, you always want to ask, is this true? Is this really true? Fact check things, like use your own brain. Don't rely on what other people tell you.
It's a good one. Bitcoin, bang or bust?
I don't know enough about it. I think bust.
All right. And will people visit?
But the underlying technology, boom. So the underlying technology will ultimately make its way into things. Bitcoin itself, I don't see it anytime soon happening.
Will people visit Mars in your lifetime?
I believe so. Partly because I believe I will. I'm turning 50 this year. I believe I will live at least another 50 years.
There you go. Well, Jack, thanks so much for jumping on the line with us.
All right. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. And for everyone who is still here, you made it to the end of the show. You actually finish what you start. That's a very rare trait. So make sure to go ahead and give us a thumbs up, a comment, a share, a like, whatever platform you're watching it on. Engage with us. We spend a lot of our time, energy, and effort to bring you the best from around the world, to give you all sorts of great free resources. And all we ask in return is that you engage with us so we know that you're enjoying the content that we're bringing you. Make sure to click the link in this description. Read the description. We have a lot of great stuff in there. And visit exactlyhow.com so you can scroll through all of our past shows. All of our shows come with great free gifts, action plans. Everything you need to know is at exactlyhow.com. Brought to you by Connected Investors. I'll see you on the inside.
The Connected Investors app connects you with investors, notifies you of available properties, helps locate cash buyers, and secure private funding to close deals. Set up in seconds to become a member of the Connected Investors social network. Now you can scroll through your main feed to find cash buyers, see investment properties not available to the general public, and network with investors by adding your own comments to a thread to keep the conversation going. The Control Center is your connection to add properties to sell, start new discussions, connect with local investors, and even find private funding. The Notifications tab will keep you alerted to new investment properties and offers. You'll also find new friend requests to connect directly with the community to build your network. From the property marketplace, you'll be able to find, favorite, and make offers on investment properties. Download Connected Investors today to find, figure, fund, and flip investment properties on the go.